to me now. So, what's the first questions you got for me?
So I was asking you who else is involved in this podcast. Is it just something that you started by yourself, or?
Okay. Well, who else? I do all the work as in interviewing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the host and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then before I used to do it, editing and everything myself, but it takes too long. So now I pay somebody in Africa, in Kenya, where I used to live.
Okay.
He edits all the gaps, the scratches, the unwanted noise, polishes it up, because obviously we've got two mics, so you have to merge the sound together.
Yeah.
And then he'll send it back to me. I will take a pre-recorded journey of a route through London,
Right.
which has got all the famous places listed and the dates that they were built on the video.
Okay.
And I will drop the audio on that. Then
Right.
I'll also take artwork. So let's say in your case, we'd have your photo with a picture of jewelry or whatever.
Right.
And then we'd superimpose that on audio, on the video. So when it's playing, if people could either watch the video, watch the scene of London, sightseeing, famous streets, all those things being listed and named, or they can just listen to the interview, or they can do both.
Oh, okay, that's quite interesting.
And so, yeah, you try and give people something to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what made you start this? Is it just having a general chit chat from working?
No, well, I actually started a different podcast, and that was called Africa Investor Stories, which is the one here. And that, because I used to live in Kenya.
Right.
Where I used to live in Kenya, I had a couple of businesses, a gym, a car hire, a fleet of tuk-tuks, and a clothing line.
Wow.
I was employing up to 85 people at the peak. But then, because I didn't understand about tribal differences, the business, during elections, I didn't really get much business. I won't go into that because we haven't got that much time, but bottom line is I sold up, I came back. But before I came back, I was reflecting with my expat friends who were out there, and we're talking about failed businesses and people who've gone to Africa and tried to do it and what's going wrong. And we deemed that when we go out there, there's nobody out there to guide you and give you pointers. So
Right.
for instance, the South Americans, when they come here, or even the Albanians, they have a key person who will say, pay me this fee and I'll fill out all the paperwork, I'll tell you what to say, what not to say, etc., etc.
Yeah.
It would be good for us to have that, so to avoid a lot of problems that you can get in certain kind of countries.
Right.
So we thought, yeah, let's start a consultative business. And then I looked at it and I slept on it that night, and I thought, no, probably not a good idea. There's something more to it. So I thought, well, first of all, I need to learn about business, because those were my first businesses, really. They say if you want to take the island, you burn the ships. And literally what I did, I sold my property, started a business, and I kind of came back with nothing. So you really got to reflect on what you're going to do, how you're going to move forward.
Yeah.
Now, when I came back, I thought, well, let me do a business course. And then someone said, why don't you do a YouTube course, blah, blah, blah. So I did a YouTube course called London Real, and what he was talking about, any business nowadays, you need to be able to savvy with the internet.
Right.
And he said, you build your audience through the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I did one called Business Accelerator, it's the first course, and the other one was, what's the other course? I can't remember the other course name, but it's basically about dealing with social media and the internet. And
Right.
you do it through a podcast.
Okay.
And you do interviews through Zoom. So I started the Africa Investor Stories, but I only did about 8 or 10 episodes. And then I had to focus on working. And then I had an experience with a lady in a car, a French young lady. She's about 21 or something, but she's homesick. She's upset her boyfriend didn't want to go home with her. Her boyfriend was English.
Yeah.
And barring me telling him, that you're probably a bit on the side, she was kind of more or less crying. I thought she was going to be sick. She's telling me how she's sad, and it was quite funny the way you think. But what happened, I was sitting driving, my arms on the centerpiece and on my elbow, and then I felt her kind of lean round.
Yeah.
And then she was just rubbing my bicep. Then she rubbed my forearm. I had a t-shirt on. Then she kissed her hand and was rubbing it on my forearm.
Right.
So I was like, oh Jesus, take the wheel kind of thing. And then I thought, I moved my arm, but then I thought, oh no, my family jewels area is vulnerable. So I had to put my arm back. So obviously you're laughing. When I told the guys about the story, they found it funny. and they said you should do a podcast, and then someone said, yeah, you should do a podcast with all the stories of people tell you. People tell you a lot of stories in a taxi because one, they don't know you, and they can tell you whatever, and then they get out and they offload their pressure. So that's why I've got over 900 episodes.
You've got over 900 episodes?
Yeah, so
amazing.
I think I got 950 based on what I uploaded last night. This will be 952. But so finally we got to the destination of the ladies, and I said, it's the end of your trip now. And then she's getting out, blowing kisses, walking backwards, blowing kisses. I said, you go, make sure you go in. But she was a bit tipsy. But she wasn't drunk.
Yeah.
But either way, you know, I'm not interested. She's young. She's younger than my oldest son. And I just told a story and everybody found it music. So that's episode 001 where I talk about it. It comes across a bit like a lad's interview, but I leave it on there because it's where you started from. How long ago was this
interview then?
This is about two years ago.
And since then you've almost 1,000 episodes.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so we're just pushing up. And some are really long episodes. But most of them.
Quite short.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
And do you enjoy it? You must do.
Well, you know what? I've had to ask some people to stop because sometimes people are telling me something that's too much for me to bear.
Okay.
I've had things about murder, attempted murder, rape, kidnap, those cancer, sickness. And I've had the jolly, happy, good things as well. So I've had a mixture of things.
Yeah. And you must have learned a lot about...
Yeah, you learn a lot about people, how they think, what they're about.
Yeah.
And all those kind of things there. So
just behind that blue car.
It's behind the blue car, no problem.
Thank you.
And it's just, it's just like that, really.
Okay.
But anyway, thanks a lot for that.
Thank you.
And we wish you well.
Thank you so much.
We hope that episode enhanced your life. We post an interview every day as well as vlogging on our social media channels. Don't forget to subscribe to get our latest episode.